A 25% chance to win the top overall pick in June's draft. We'll find out for sure tonight at the draft lottery being held for the first time in Chicago. The Grizzlies, Mavericks, Hawks, and Magic have the next best chances to win the top pick. The probability of landing that pick decreases through the lottery, as you know, with the Nuggets owning the longest shot, a 1 in 200 chance to select first overall. Look inside the draft lottery room tonight in Chicago. Former #1 overall pick Elton Brand and Jesse Jackson, who I believe went undrafted.
He definitely went undrafted. Hey, Elton's sharp, man. That's a nice ensemble he's got right there.
He does look sharp.
Yeah, Elton's sharp now.
Philly is well represented.
76ers, that's right. Looking good there. Well, let's get into some of the prizes available to whoever winds up getting that #1 overall pick. And we'll start with the 7-footer DeAndre Ayton out of Arizona by way of the Bahamas. There was a time when there would be no question he would be the -- overall pick, but the league has changed a little bit. In your mind, is he the guy?
The league has changed a little bit, but it hasn't changed with so much. A lot of times we act like big men are dead or they can't play or it's no longer big man's league, but we saw a lot of big men that can play right now in this league, and DeAndre Ayton will be one of those guys. He has a nice 15-foot face-up game. He's strong. He can rebound. He finishes well. And the biggest thing for me is he checks multiple boxes. He can score the basketball, but guess what? He can dominate the game from just a sheer rebounding standpoint and shot block standpoint. So on nights where his offense isn't going, he can do something else for you. That, to me, is the making of a star. When your offense isn't going, what else can you do? Can you do something else? DeAndre Ayton can do that.
Does he look like a franchise player to you?
If he can defend in space, I think he's going to have the potential to be that. I think it's one real concern is on the defensive side of the ball. As physically freakish as he is, he's not somebody who has great instincts on that side of the ball. He's not somebody who really responds well to defend up here and then recover and defend down here. He doesn't move side to side terribly well right now, and he also doesn't feel bodies in the paint. His spatial awareness isn't great defensively, so that's one thing that could potentially make him more a fit as a #1 pick, where Luka Doncic may also be a guy who could be a fit as a #1 fit.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask you next. The 19-year-old Slovenian been playing for Real Madrid the last 3 years, and some believe he's the best Euro prospect ever. What do you think he can do in the NBA right now?
He's certainly the only Euro prospect who's played at the level he has against grown men for as long as he has. He was very much an MVP candidate for a very large portion of the regular season in EuroLeague. He's a player that leads EuroLeague in the regular season in player index rating, which is very much like an efficiency number that we would use here. He's somebody who can shoot the ball at a pretty high level. He has exceptional vision. He's 6'8". He has the size to make every pass over the top. He has a real natural flair offensively for the game and a feel for the game that's special. I mean, people do talk about him like he's transcendent in that way.
Yeah.
I think just like Ayton, Luka's going to have some defensive challenges that you're going to have to address, and you have to have a team that's a good fit for a player like that, because in many ways he's like a big point guard in terms of what he can do with the ball, but he's certainly not going to guard that position.
Youngest player ever to record a triple-double in the Spanish league, just 19 years of age. By the way, coached in the Slovenian with the Slovenian national team by Igor Kokoskov, the new Phoenix Suns coach. Of course, they have the best chance of winning the lottery if the ping pong balls go their way. Reminder, the Suns having the best chance to win the lottery at 25% means there's a 75% chance they will not win the lottery. And we've seen long shots come away with the top pick before, none longer than the Orlando Magic in '93, who took and then traded Chris Webber. And of course, your Cavaliers defied the odds twice while you were there. How do you make lightning strike?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. The way that you do it, and the only way that I know you can try to replicate it, is you have Nick Gilbert show up and represent you at the draft lottery. He's going to be carrying Thor's hammer, which is his bow tie. Okay. So I think #1's already predetermined. Cleveland has that, so now we'll just watch the lottery. What comes next?
You're just writing in Cleveland?
Yeah, we'll just pencil them in there because Nick's on board.
You know what? I'm going to go with Memphis. I'm going to go with Memphis. I'd love to see Memphis get the #1 pick, get DeAndre Ayton, maybe blow that team up a little bit, ship some guys like Conley out to different situations, and really just start over.
I love that you're making lottery predictions, by the way.
I like that he's trading people on lottery night as well. That's awesome.
If you're Memphis and you get that pick, you know, it's time to officially dive into the rebuild. And I don't think that Gasol and Ayton go together. And if Gasol goes out the door, I think Conley's going to want to go out the door as well. So you start the rebuilding process. 2 sticks of dynamite, blow it up.
Well, having once traded a guy who was the first pick in the Andrew Wiggins situation, I think you could see some teams that get into the lottery at second or third. Maybe they can move them for an existing superstar. Maybe there's an opportunity where you identify somebody as a better fit for the arc of where your season might be, and you use that as a target to go get somebody specific.
Well, the Lakers will pick 25th in the draft, but thanks to various trades, their record will net some team a much better pick. Follow along. Boston gets the Laker pick if it's number 2 through number 5. Philly gets the pick if it's number 1. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Or far more likely, number 6 through 13. Scenarios that will play out here shortly. We'll find out where everybody is. But how amazing is it for you as somebody who's run a team and dealt these assets back and forth that the 2 up-and-coming team in the Eastern Conference could potentially have either the 1 or the 2nd overall pick in this draft?
And not surprisingly, those are 2 teams that might target a superstar with those picks because they're already so young and have such a depth of other pick assets coming online. They are the teams that if they get into a situation where they're first, second, or third, they could be teams that are targeting somebody specific.
Yeah, like I said, when you look at these teams and what they've been able to do, Danny Ainge, man, he's looking like the GOAT of GMs right now.
Unbelievable.
With the way everything he touches and every decision he makes works out. A team like Boston or Philly getting one of these picks, it'll just add to them. Either they can use this as a movable chess piece to bring in a veteran, or at the same time, they can just draft another young piece of talent. I like this draft. I think the top 10 is loaded with guys, and sometimes it's better to get young guys that you don't have to pay, that you can mold and craft, and you can fit them in with your other young superstars.
Well, I think it's also really meaningful that both of these teams, Philadelphia and Boston, have done this over a very long period of time. They've been very patient. They've been very mindful in the way they've played this. It's really unique to have a front office, a head coach, and ownership be in lockstep to the same degree that Boston has been. Danny and Mike Zarin have really been blessed to be in that situation.
We'll find out how it all shakes out here in about an hour.